Hey there, viewers. Have you ever experienced uncomfortable bouts of coughing during the day and congestion at night? We've been there too. While we may all recognize these experiences, we are often confused as to what caused our excessive mucus and phlegm. In today's video, let's take a look at some of the most common causes for excessive phlegm in the throat, as well as recommendations for eliminating congestion. Number 1. Allergies. Before we begin, let's briefly explain what phlegm is, how it's produced, and what it means to have too much of it. Our respiratory system produces mucus, or a thick protective fluid lining, on a regular basis. This normal physiological process helps moisturize our bodies and provides protection against harmful pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, and parasites. While phlegm is also considered to be mucus, this medical term is used when the produced mucus is related to some sort of inflammation or disease that is active in the body. When we encounter some sort of infection or irritation, our respiratory passages begin to secrete phlegm as a way to get rid of the harmful pathogens from the body. This phlegm usually contains viral or bacterial cells and other inflammatory cells that are produced during these processes. One way we can eliminate phlegm is by coughing it up. When this happens, the phlegm becomes sputum. When it comes to overwhelming phlegm production in the throat, a very common cause may be allergies. Whether they're seasonal or all year round, allergies can be the cause of discomfort for a lot of people. Excess mucus production is a key characteristic of allergies, and here's why. By definition, allergies occur when our bodies and immune systems react to foreign substances. From pollen to peanuts and bee venom, there are numerous factors that may trigger immune reactions. And as we know, everyone has their unique responses to these provoking factors. When our immune system encounters these harmless substances, our glands begin to produce excessive amounts of mucus as a defense mechanism. In hopes of capturing these substances, we produce phlegm, postnasal drip, and even sputum. While a lot of phlegm production is usually temporary, it can hinder our everyday activities. One great way to avoid such discomfort is to identify what may be causing the allergic reactions. Knowing the exact provoking factor may help you avoid future exposure. Another recommendation is to consult your doctor and see if there are any over-the-counter medications you can take to ease the allergy symptoms. Number 2. Viral or bacterial infections. Along with allergies, excess phlegm and sputum production in the throat can be traced back to viral or bacterial infections. While both of these pathogens cause immune reactions, their clinical presentations and symptoms can be very different. So let's see the difference between how viral infections and how bacterial infections may manifest. Common viral upper respiratory infections are what we call common colds and the flu. These conditions usually result in the production of a runny nose, slight fevers, coughs, and sore throats. Viral infections don't need antibiotic therapies and tend to last a couple of days. Bacterial infections in the respiratory tract can range anywhere from strep throat to pneumonia in the lungs. These kinds of infections usually last longer and can have more severe symptoms, like higher fevers, fatigue, weakness, and heavy coughs. As we've mentioned, both viral and bacterial infections may lead to excess phlegm production. But did you know that the color of the phlegm, or sputum, can be a clue to identify the causative pathogen? For example, yellow or green sputum is usually related to a bacterial infection in the respiratory tract. According to research, this specific tone of phlegm is a result of the green-colored myeloperoxidase enzyme fighting and battling the bacterial particles. The myeloperoxidase enzyme is naturally produced by our bodies and is thought to be the frontline defense against harmful pathogens. This type of sputum is what's known as purulent sputum in the medical world. Viral infections, on the other hand, are demonstrated by frothy or white sputum production. This is because viral processes lack the involvement of the myeloperoxidase enzyme and don't show that characteristic green hue. Number 3. Gastroesophageal reflux disease. Did you know that phlegm production may also be associated with digestive conditions like gastroesophageal reflux disease and heartburn? While not as common as viral or bacterial infections, excessive phlegm can have a direct link with gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD. For short. GERD occurs when the stomach acid leaks through the stomach and makes its way up to the esophagus. Even though we produce this stomach acid on a daily basis, it's not supposed to end up in our esophagus. When this happens, the lining of the long esophagus gets irritated, and we experience a burning sensation, most commonly known as heartburn. The reason for acid leaking and backing up is because of improper lower esophageal sphincter function. Normally, when we eat, the sphincter located at the lower esophagus opens up to let the food down into the stomach. But once the food slides down, the sphincter closes to avoid stomach content escaping. When the muscles around the sphincter become weak or too loose, that is when the lower esophageal sphincter loses its normal function and lets the stomach acid leak through. And the result is acid reflux, heartburn, hoarseness, and sometimes chronic coughs. Now you might be wondering, how are acid reflux and excessive phlegm connected? As the acid isn't meant to go up in the esophagus, the lining of this long tube becomes very irritated. According to research, this type of irritation can trigger esophageal tracheal bronchial cough reflux and lead to chronic coughs. This reflex reaction occurs as a defense mechanism, which is what stimulates the uncomfortable bouts of coughing. Along with reflex coughs, the acid may stimulate excess mucus production in the throat and pharynx, and that is why many who suffer from GERD may experience excess phlegm production in the throat, especially at night. Number 4. Smoking. In addition to certain medical conditions and acute reactions, lifestyle choices and habits can also result in excess phlegm production. One of the most common causes of mucus production in the throat is brought on by smoking and tobacco. This event is so common that it has even earned a name: smoker's cough. Many people can develop a dry cough after regular use of tobacco and cigarettes. Even though this smoker's cough starts out as dry, it may eventually lead to phlegm production. And here's the intricate process that takes place. Tobacco contains thousands of chemicals that are foreign to our bodies. When these chemicals enter our respiratory tracts, they interfere with several normal physiological processes. They stop the motile cilia located along our respiratory tracts to filter out the dangerous toxins, which is how the chemicals from tobacco survive in our airways. By hindering the movement of cilia in the windpipe and bronchi, formaldehyde and other tobacco chemicals move down to the lungs. This process then stimulates inflammation in the lungs, which is why smokers develop coughs as a reflex response. Chronic bouts of cough then lead to excess mucus and phlegm production, in the hopes of getting rid of the harmful toxins and chemicals in the respiratory tracts. A great way to avoid smoker's cough and unfavorable symptoms brought on by tobacco is to limit cigarette smoking and avoid exposure to these dangerous chemicals. Research has also found that gargling warm water, drinking tea with honey, and using a humidifier have also shown to decrease phlegm production in chronic smokers. Number 5. Lung conditions. Speaking of lung inflammation, it's no secret that excess phlegm and mucus production in the throat have also been linked to certain lung conditions. But while these lung conditions may all demonstrate the same symptoms and clinical features, the processes that lead to excess phlegm production are all different. Let's begin by discussing chronic obstructive lung disorder, or COPD for short. COPD is a group of chronic inflammatory lung diseases that cause airflow obstruction from the lungs. Emphysema and chronic bronchitis are two lung conditions that fall under the umbrella of COPD. These chronic inflammation processes lead to difficulty in breathing, coughing, wheezing, and mucus production. According to research and studies, people with COPD experience excessive phlegm production in the throat because of an increased number of goblet cells. What are these goblet cells? These cells are scattered along the epithelial lining of our respiratory tract and are responsible for the synthesis and production of mucus. And as we've observed, the more mucus, the more phlegm. Another lung condition that has an excessive yet unique type of phlegm is cystic fibrosis, or CF for short. This genetic disorder is characterized by the lack of normal physiological movements of chloride and salt into and out of cells. This abnormal biochemical process can affect the cells responsible for mucus, sweat, and digestive juice production. That is why people with cystic fibrosis have signature thick and sticky mucus secretions. Because of the unique thickness of the mucus, the lungs become clogged with fluid, and that's what triggers persistent coughs and thick sputum production. While cystic fibrosis is not as common as chronic obstructive lung disorder, it is one of the most notable causes of excess phlegm production in the throat and lungs. Were you familiar with these common reasons for excessive phlegm and mucus production in the throat? Will you be trying some of these tips to reduce throat phlegm and mucus? Let us know in the comments below. Here are 2 more videos you might find interesting. Feel free to choose the one you like. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share the video with your friends. And for more interesting videos on health, subscribe to the channel.